Okay, so part 2. So find the derivative. So we're looking at exponential logarithmic functions, and we need to find the derivative of the function f of x equals equals 8x cubed e to the x. So when we have two terms multiplied together, we need to use the product rule. So the product rule, f prime of x multiplied by g of x plus f of x multiplied by g prime of x. So if we're going to make 8x cubed be our f of x, if we take the derivative, so let's write f of x first, this is going to be 8x cubed. And if we take the derivative, this is going to be 24x squared. So g of x is e to the x. And if we take the derivative, it will be the same. So we need to apply these. So let's do that. So f prime of x, we have 24x squared. And this is going to be multiplied by our g of x, which is e to the x. We need to multiply, this is going to be plus. And then we have f of x, so that's our 8x cubed multiplied by our g prime of x, which is e to the x. So we should write this as, let's move that over. So we're going to write this as f of x is equal, so we need to factor. So what can we factor? So our common terms, we have an 8 goes into 8 and 24. We have an x2 and we have an e to the x. So I'm going to write 8x squared e to the x. So 8 multiplied, so this is going to be multiplied by 3. And then we have an x left in our x cubed. So this is going to be our final answer. So question to try. So find the derivative of the function, and we have f of x is 7x to the 4 e to the x. So take a moment, have a look at this. So remember, this is going to be using the product rule. Okay, so let's just write down our terms. So f of x, this is 7x to the 4. If we take the derivative, 4 times 7, 28, 4 minus 1, so that's going to be 28x cubed. So g of x, this is going to be e to the x. And if we take the derivative, this is still going to be e to the x. So this is our second question. And we're going to substitute in the values. So we've got f of x. So f of x, this is going to be 28x cubed multiplied by our term, our g of x. So this is going to be e to the x plus our f of x, which is 7x to the 4 multiplied by e of x. We're looking at what we can factor. Well, 7 goes into 28 4 times. We have an x to the 3 and x to the 4, so we can factor by x to the 3, and we also have an e to the x. So our f prime, so we're going to factor by 7x cubed e to the x. So 7 goes into 28 4 times, and x cubed and e to the x are the same. So then we're going to multiply. So 7 goes to 7 one time. So what we've got left, we're left with, so 7 goes to 7. So this is going to be a plus 1 x. So plus x. And there's our answer. Okay, so this question, find the derivative of function. So this time we're looking at exponential functions and trig functions. So we're multiplying two terms together, so we need to use the product rule. So using the product rule, so if we take our first term, f of x, this is e to the 5x. And if we take f prime, this is going to be e to the 5x multiplied by the derivative, which is 5. So we can rewrite this as 5e to the 5x. So g of x, this is our cosine. So cosine of 2 of x. And if we take the derivative, so the derivative of cosine is minus sine. So we're going to write that as the same, but with minus sign. So the inside is the same. But then we have to take the derivative of the inside. So we're taking the derivative of this term here. So we're going to multiply by the derivative, which is 2. And we can rewrite this as minus 2 sine of 2x. So now we just need to substitute this in. So we'll have f prime of x is going to be f prime. So that's going to be 5e to the 5x multiplied by our g of x, which is cosine 2x. And then that is plus, and now we want our f of x, which is just e to the 5 of x, multiplied by our g prime of x, which is minus sine, actually, let's put the 2 in front. So minus 2 sine of 2x. So if we look at our function, do we have anything we can simplify? We've already written our 2 in front. So we could write it as minus 2e. So let's just do that. So 5e to the 5x cosine of 2x, and we can make our minus 2. So minus 2e to the 5x sine of 2x. Okay, so we'll try this one. Find the derivative of the function f of x is equal to e to the 6x cosine of 7x. So I'll give you a minute and then I'll check the answer. So remember, we need two terms are multiplied together, so we need to use the product rule. So let's write down our terms. So our f of x for our first term, e to the 6 of the x is going to be the same. Our f prime of x, now we need to write down e to the 6x, and then we're going to multiply it by the derivative. So the derivative is going to be 6. So we can write this in front. So 6e to the 6x. G of x. So this is our cosine of 7x. So we're going to write it the same. So cosine of 7x. So now our g prime of x. So cosine is minus sine. So we're going to write minus sine. And we're going to keep the inside the same. But then we need to differentiate the inside. So we're looking at this part here. So we're going to multiply this by 7. And we're going to write it in front. So this is going to be minus 7 sine of 7x. So now we're just going to rewrite that for the derivative using the product rule. So f prime of x, so we said that's 6e to the 6x multiplied by g of x, which is cosine of 7x, plus, now we want our f of x, so this is going to be e to the 6x multiplied by our g prime of x, which is minus 7 sine to the 7x. So the last step is just to simplify it, or look what we can do. So looking for our terms, so I'm just going to rewrite this 6e to the 6x cosine of 7x, and I'm going to write my minus 7 in front of my e to the 6x sine of 7x.